Yeah, I'm finally gonna do it. It's the how I turned $120 into $3,000 in about like 2 months or something like that. I'm gonna go over all the purchases, how many shares, like the price, and also like why I bought it. I did this on Webull. I have a Robinhood account, and that was always my main trading account. And then when I was doing that, I decided I wanted to, have a second one. And basically because I'm really like my Robinhood is like my play account, right? Where I experiment more. Although I still experimented a lot with this one, so that's kind of hypocritical. I did a lot of like kind of weird because like when it was only 120 bucks, I felt like I could just do whatever with it, which was kind of a good move because I was just kind of like fearless with it because I was playing with bigger money on my Robinhood account. I didn't do as crazy of stuff. Not saying that you should do these crazy things because one really important thing to know is that a lot of this like success with this is like the market was just insanely good. In a way, not everything was going up. You still had to pick obviously good stocks, but in general, most things were making money in like, August, November, December, January. So it was not the hardest time to do well, but I still picked some really good stocks that yeah. So we'll just go through it. So I'm also going to have like my account total up over here somewhere so you can kind of see like what was happening. I'll try to match it with like what I'm talking about as I'm describing what it is. You can see what's happening with my account. So hopefully that's helpful. And I'm also going to tell you like the dumb things I did too. There's tons of that in here. So we'll just start off. So like a funny thing is literally the first stock that I bought on here was GoodRx. And that was because of a YouTuber that kind of recommended it. You can see, oh, it doesn't, let's see if it has the date. Okay, I'll show you right here real quick. So I bought it based on like a tip, and I bought it on the 17th of November. And then after 10 days, it was basically the same price. You can see 11.27. So I just got out of that. And that's why like I recommend like when you buy stocks and whatever, like I don't recommend buying what other people just like tell you about unless you do a lot of research and you're like, oh, this sounds awesome because I don't use that company. I might never use it, like they might be great, but I just don't have an interest in it. And so when it just wasn't doing anything, I just had no passion for it, right? So I was like, oh, let me just get my money out of there and put it in something else. And then you'll see here on that ZNGA, that's one of the free stocks that I got. Same with AGI. So I got my free stocks from Webull for like depositing $100. So I got rid of those. And then this is important. SNDL was like the first one that I like kind of committed to. I bought 330 shares and I bought it at 39 cents. But I want to explain something. So I had already bought this one at I think 28 cents on my Robinhood. I already knew it had potential to do well, but I want to show you and explain like why I decided to buy this because I've said this in a previous video. This was not a company that I was like excited about necessarily. It was this. If you look at this chart, I don't know where I found this stock. Like I think honestly, I just saw it like on like maybe a YouTube comment or whatever. Like I didn't even know that this is a stock that's like heavily traded. It's one of the most heavily traded stocks. If you watch my Doge video, I talked about that because it was actually on the 420 like Doge day. It was also supposed to be a meme stock that was supposed to get pumped up and it didn't. And Doge did. It did way better, but not important. But I happened to just look at this company. And if you saw it like this, or like a little bit further back, it probably wasn't that exciting, but I just happened to click on the 5 year and I saw that it had started out at $11 a share. And then I was looking at it. And, when I first bought into it, like I said, on my Robinhood, it was at like 28 cents. And so this isn't like necessarily like the smartest math or, like finance decision or stock trading, like whatever. But I was just like, you know what? If it could ever be $11 and $9, $8, and it's at like 28 cents right now, if it ever recovers, maybe I'll make some money. So that was literally all I was thinking when I bought into this. I did read a little bit about like what they were doing and like why they were doing so bad. And I saw that, the company had put out some statements saying like, we recognize like what we've done wrong. We need to improve on. They're still not doing that great. They're at 82, but which is still a lot more than like 28 cents. But yeah, I just want to be clear about like, this is one of the few companies that I couldn't tell you I don't even know like what necessarily, like it's a weed company, like a weed stock, cannabis, but I don't know anything about them at all, to be honest. Like, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, that was one of the first ones. I bought it at 39 cents. And then you can see I sold another ZNGA and then I sold some. So I bought it for 28 cents on my other account. I bought it for 39 here. And then I sold half of it at 71 cents. So that's about a doubling. Yeah, it's definitely, okay. I would say the average between both accounts, that's a doubling of my money there. So then what I did, since it doubled, is I sold half of it. And I used that half. This is kind of dumb because I bought Neo and I bought it at 44 a share, but I had already bought Neo at $16 a share. That was actually my first stock ever. And literally, like I bought Neo because like basically I missed out on like a lot of like the Tesla run from last year, from like January, March, all the way until like it went to an insane price. And so I was like, dang, and I felt like I missed out. And so then I looked up the competition, and I was like, Neo is number one in terms of like their competition. And I don't even consider them competition. I think that they are like almost like comrades in a way. It's a similar mission. I think the William Lee, the CEO of Neo, is just awesome. And so I see them as like friends, I don't see them as like competitors or whatever. So even if they will compete in certain markets, that's not how I see them. But anyway, so I like Neo a lot, but I bought it at that price. And then this kind of makes me sad. I've always liked this company, Solo. They make these three wheel, also an electric car company, whereas Neo is going to be and is an autonomous car company. Solo is not. It's just like a small, kind of, supposed to be sort of a semi-budget car, like eco-friendly. But that's a company that's really disappointed me because the stock has never done well. And even though I love the look of the cars, I prefer that to Arcimoto. I'm not impressed yet. I really hope they can turn around and do well. But yeah. And then let's see. I bought more because I bought more SNDL because remember I sold it at 71 and then it went down to 57 cents. So I bought another 100 shares. I bought more Solo. What was that first one that I bought? So at 6, so yeah, I made a little bit. But I don't even know if I made money on that, but that's not important. I bought some Nano Dimension at 672. I'll just go this way so I don't have to go click on everything. I'm not going to talk about Nano right now because when I first originally bought Nano on Robinhood, it was like $2. So it had already started doing well. So I'll save that for another day. I bought more Solo. I wish these were more scrunched together so I could see the buy and sell. And then I bought more SNDL at 44 cents. Keep in mind it had gone to 70 something cents. And then I sold it at 53 cents. So again, making some money. But the reason I sold that was to buy Foresight Autonomous. And I bought that at $2.33. So keep that in mind. And then I bought Aqua Metals at 248. And then let's see, I bought some more. So you can see already Foresight Autonomous. I'll say a little bit about Foresight Autonomous, only because I've been talking about Microvision a little bit. And they're another company that does, so like Microvision does LiDAR and Foresight Autonomous does like a infrared, basically like a long wavelength infrared. Basically, the difference is that it detects heat. So the other one is like a laser. This one detects heat. It could seem like they're like competition because they're both supposed to be in like autonomous vehicles, but they are different technologies. In my dream world, honestly, I would hope that like down the road, I would hope that Tesla, once these companies like get it more dialed in, would have like Tesla would have their cameras, have LiDAR from Microvision, and then also this infrared from, because this can cut through like fog and different harsher weather conditions that those other two can't. Whereas cameras can get blocked by so many things. This is different. But the reason why I was buying Foresight Autonomous, and this is important, was that because of that infrared technology at the time, and why it was going up was because of COVID, actually, because they're also a company where their technology is used in like stadiums and like airports and like all these different like places where people are in like big groups. And so what's cool about their technology is that they're able to actually detect people with COVID because of their higher temperature. Like they have a fever, right? If you have COVID, you have a fever. So you could be scanning like a group of people and you could spot out the people that have COVID. So that's why this stock started kind of like running up. So it wasn't just the fact that they can do have this cool technology in cars. It had to do with COVID. And so let's see, like started buying that. Keep in mind, I started buying at 230. And let's just go this way. And you can see it's going up. I bought more at 429. And I sold at 429. And then I bought more at 488. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. I mean, that's when I was day trading. And like, you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes you buy and then it goes down and you're like, oh, what's happening? And then you either buy more or you sell out of it because you lose faith in it or whatever. And then I kept buying more SNDL again. And I was buying that. Let's see, it was at 47, 49, 45. Oh, I guess I sold out. Oh, and I sold out. This is important because SNDL was doing well. But this is when I got into Bionano, BNGO. And this is probably the most important stock besides Nano Dimension that I ever bought. And you'll see here that I bought it at $1.15. And I sold some more Foresight Autonomous to buy more Bionano. And you can see Bionano's already going up. It's 122. I bought some Aqua Metals. Not too important because you can see now Bionano is at 268. And so it's going up. I buy some more, and then I sell 100 shares of it at 489. So it's going up, it's going up. So then I use that to buy some SNDL at 67. It goes up to 75. I sell out, and I sell out of that to buy. They still have a different name, but it's Ascens Surgical, which they do these like if you know those like Da Vinci surgery robots. This company does something similar, but they have like they're more advanced with like haptic feedback so that when you're performing surgery, you feel it physically. So like what you're working on, whereas as opposed to like Da Vinci, you can't feel anything. Like this will tell you like basically and like stop you from like doing certain things, reduce error or whatever. And so I sold some BNGO after that. It had gone to $5.14, and I used that to buy this Isoray company at 161. And then BNGO is still going up. So I sold it at 7. So keep in mind, I bought it at $1.15 or started buying it at $1.15. And then I sold some of it at like $7 and then used that. And then also sold SNDL at 68 cents. And keep in mind, I bought that at like 30 something originally. So sold that stuff to buy some Senseonics, which I didn't buy very much of that. I sold more BNGO at 8.48. Keep in mind, I bought that around $1 and then sold the Isoray. It went up like 40 cents. Bought more Foresight Autonomous. I don't think that was a very good buy here, but we'll see what happens. And then I sold more SNDL at 68 cents each. And then bought more Sensonics. Bought a little bit more of the Ascensus, but and then I don't remember buying the Zomedica, but yeah, that's one that I've never been too happy with either. And then sold more Bionano because it hit $9. Got rid of my Zomedica. Again, that's another company, like they do, it's like a veterinary, like, I don't even know what they do. It's just something that I saw. Another one of those things where I saw something, got it, and I just wasn't hyped on it at all. And I didn't even bother looking into it. I sold more of that robot company. Remember, I bought that at 165. So when I sold that, started selling that surgery company, they were at 360. So I doubled my money on that. And then sold more Ascens at 348. Bought some Nano at 11. That probably wasn't a good buy, but hopefully this was before it went up to $16 or whatever. Got rid of more Zomedica. Sold more of the Ascensus because I had doubled on it. Bought some Ehong. Bought some more Foresight at 9. This is where things get a little bit dicey because this is going to get to the top of like the bubble. Sold more SNDL at 63 cents. Isoray, what did I buy that at? Like 160. Bought more BNGO at 875. And then, okay, here we go. Yeah. So it was good that I bought Nano Dimension because I sold it at $16, which was at the peak. That was the perfect time to sell. But yeah, like I said, on Robinhood, I bought that at $2 and then sold at $16. So that was awesome. Sold the Foresight Autonomous at 922 because that was pretty much as it might have hit $11. I could double check that. And then I sold you can see I start selling Bionano at $12, which again, I had bought for $1. After that point, it's not really that important. But that's literally all I did. So I wanted to show you this. You see this spike right here? And I would say that's probably around when it was like a 349 or something like that, which would be this point right here. I remember very specifically being sad because I didn't know what was going to happen next necessarily, right? And everything had been going pretty well so far up to this point. And I remember this was like 2 weeks for me where I was just like so bummed out because like I felt like I was losing money or whatever. And I wished that I had sold out at this point here. And I remember just being bummed out. And I didn't know what was going to happen. And just like that feeling and the irony of like being sad. And then again, this going from 500 to, just just going up and up and up. So I wanted to show you something else though that I think is really important. So let's look at Tesla. Okay. And this is over 5 years. We could go further back actually. Let's go all the way back. Oh man, it's crazy to think it was this price. You have to multiply by 5 because of the split, but whatever. But this is really important. Okay, there's two things. One, look at Tesla and look how long it took. This is years being down here before it exploded, right? Before it becomes like $1 trillion company, okay? So this is one thing. So like the first lesson here is like, this is why it's important. If you believe in a company, if you really, really believe in a company, why it's so important to hold, okay? But the other thing is, this is incredibly important, okay? Maybe the most important thing I could ever say is that, let's say you've got $1,000 to invest, and then you put it in here, right? Okay. And then it explodes. Or let's say you've been buying since back here, and let's say like you buy you're like let's say you're buying like one share a month. Let's assume you're not rich. All you can afford is like a share a month or maybe a share a week. Okay. But look at how much Tesla over the years you could accrue, right? So of course all these people would love for it to skyrocket here, right? But it's good that it didn't, because all these people had years and years and years of time to keep loading up on Tesla. So would you rather have 100 shares, or would you rather have like 500 shares or 1,000 shares, right? That you could have bought over all this time before it explodes. So I know that we all want our companies and our stocks to do well, but the way I look at it is like, if you don't have enough number of shares or enough money invested into a stock or into a company, do you really want it to take off and become more expensive, right? So like, this is why I like the red days. I like it when like my favorite companies go down so much. Okay, because I have a company right now that went like this and then has plummeted down. Okay, and I'm hoping, I would love for it to keep doing this for another year, another 2 years, 3 years, so I can load up and load up, because I'm very confident this is going to happen to it, right? So keep that in mind. Do you really want your stock to become ultra expensive and then you regret not being able to put more money into it? So I hope you hear that, because that's really important. I think a lot of people's mentality isn't quite right yet, especially if you're new. You want to like put $100 or $500 into a stock and then have it like double, triple, right? But wouldn't you rather have like 10,000 or $5,000 in that stock and then have that happen, or even more? So yeah, I think that's really important, and people don't think about that. Also, here's another thing. I'll just add this in. So Warren Buffett said this. It's not word for word, but basically, like, when it comes to stocks, there's this phenomenon where, let's say you're at the mall and shopping, and you find out, or it's announced that everything in the store or in the mall is 50% off. Stocks is the only time where, when everything is on sale and becomes cheaper for you to buy, people start selling their own clothes. Does that make sense? Your jeans, your favorite jeans and your favorite shirts just became half the price, and people sell their own clothes because it's not as expensive. Do you understand how backwards that is? So you should be like, oh, all my favorite stuff is on sale, I can buy more of it. But when it comes to stocks, for some reason, people sell their own stuff when it's on sale. Again, losing money. So, they bought it for $100 and then they sell it for $50. Why? Because it went on sale. So another thing to keep in mind. So yeah, I kind of want to explain like the strategy and like what I was doing now that we've looked at everything. And like, basically what I was doing, if you couldn't tell, was that, I would buy into something, and when it would do well, like let's say it doubled or tripled or whatever it was doing, I would take some of those profits. Like, I wouldn't necessarily sell out of the whole position, right? A lot of times I would sell like half of it. And I'd always be looking for like new companies and like new opportunities. I'd be doing research constantly and finding something that I thought might do well, or that could do well, or a company like SNDL that had done really bad. And I've said this before, like, I know that companies don't like to go bankrupt. I know they don't like to close their doors. So when I see a company that's on the edge of death, I kind of like to invest in it. That's not always the best move, but I've had good luck with that. And sometimes it's paid off tremendously, like with Bionano and with SNDL and NNDM. So, but yeah, what I kept doing was, I started out with like $120, and then once it got to be a little more, I would take those little pieces and put that into something. And then when that would double, I'd take a little bit of that, and then maybe a little bit of something else, and then put that into something else. And then as those things did well, I would take some of those profits and then put it into another thing that I thought might do well, and just kept snowballing, and just kind of kept doing that. That's why towards like the end there, why I stop it at the 27th is like, at that point I had turned 120 into 3,000, and then my Robinhood had turned into a lot more than that. And so I got to a point where I definitely thought it was more important for me to continue to do more research rather than just like looking at my phone all the time. Like I felt like I made a good amount, and I probably could have kept flipping that like forever, but I didn't want to just keep doing that. I really wanted to do more than that. And I'm not looking to be just like a day trader. Like I could have turned into that or could be that possibly maybe. Or I just got lucky because it was a great market. There's still that. Yeah, I just kind of decided that that's just not like the route that I want to go. Yeah, that was it. It was literally just like like I would look at it as like finding like new seeds to plant and then like water, right? So yeah, that was the trick. That's how I did it. I would say it's probably harder to do right now because the market is more likely to. It's just super volatile right now, so it's hard to find those like doublings and triplings all the time. But I would say once the market starts picking up, if it ever does, because crypto might be the new thing, and but I see them both being able to move forward and do well. So I think when things settle down, it's been a little bit bizarre the last couple of weeks and months, because also like a lot of these companies that like did so well in that bull market, in that bubble, were super speculative, and it was before a lot of them were even profitable yet. Like people were finding out that these companies have really cool technologies, investing a ton, but then wondering like, oh, look at their earnings, like they're not profitable yet. Like they're like, and then COVID has made it really difficult for a lot of companies to be successful. Like for example, Nano Dimension, they make these like big 3D printing machines, and they would have customers that like order them, but then Nano Dimension can't even deliver them because of COVID. Like they need to go and install these machines and like take them overseas and stuff, and they couldn't do it. So there was a lot of things that kind of like when that bubble happened, and then like these companies do super well, and then people are just like wondering like, oh, when are you guys going to make money? When are you going to be profitable? And it's like, well, you invested way too early is basically what happened. And then that's why a lot of these companies are down quite a bit, like Nano and BNGO, like they're down like about half from their all-time highs. So yeah, that was what I did. It was a lot of fun. I might get back into day trading, but I'm having so much fun doing like other stuff right now that I'm just not as into it as I was. But it is fun. It feels cool to do that. But yeah. So anyway, hope that helps. Bye.